Ladies and gents, you join us in a sunny UK, which I've been told is rare, but what is not rare today was this motorcycle, because we've been riding it as much as possible along some lovely countryside roads. This is the Royal Enfield Classic 650 Twin, and it is easily the most awaited motorcycle in the 650cc range. And here is everything that you need to know about it. The styling may be similar to the smaller Classic 350, but that's where it ends, because underneath the styling, the frame and largely most of the components of this motorcycle are similar to the Shotgun or the Super Meteor, not even the Interceptor or the Conti. This one has a few things that are unique to itself. One of them is that this is the longest motorcycle in the range. The engine is not something that is new to us. We have been familiar with this exact engine in the same state of tune because it does duty in the Shotgun and the Super Meteor as well. And of course, it is mated to the 6-speed transmission. Suspension at either end is managed by Showa equipment. If you look at this one, it is largely identical to the Shotgun equipment, but the internals, the valving, the spring rate, all of that Royal Enfield claim have been tuned differently to suit the Classic's nature. At the front, we have a 43mm conventional fork and 120mm of travel there and 90mm of travel here. Braking is managed by a 320mm disc at the front and a 300mm disc at the rear. Twin piston calipers there and a single piston caliper here with, of course, dual channel ABS. And now we reach the most important aspect of this motorcycle: how it is to ride. The seat height is 800mm, no spot of bother for somebody as tall as me, and I'm happy to report that the riding position is very in line with what we are used to the Classic. It's relaxed, upright, and puts you in a place where you want to ride the motorcycle for as long as possible. So good job there, Royal Enfield. Like I said previously, the engine is something that is extremely familiar to us, and I feel that the 650cc parallel twin is best for this motorcycle because it complements its nature to a great degree. Up until 120 kilometers per hour in 6th gear, there is nothing to be worried about. And in India, that is the highest you can go legally on a road, so no problems there. The only thing I would improve about this engine is I feel it could have had a little bit more refinement, but that is not a problem for the use case scenario that this Classic 650 is intended for. The Classic 650 has changed my perception of the Classic range, because previously I used to believe the Classic 350 was a motorcycle that you could just sit on and munch mile after mile in comfort. This motorcycle is much better equipped to do it, but the highlight for me today were the fast sections that we rode on, because on those sections it was easy to see that the feedback from the front end, the way the entire motorcycle holds itself around a fast curve, and the amount of precision I have under braking is immense and allowed me to unlock a new dimension that could be enjoyed with the Classic 650. And this is a motorcycle that is equally at home just cruising on the highway and just as good when you get to the twisties. It's an incredibly stable motorcycle on the straights, but it is not the most agile thing to turn into a corner. But like I said earlier, once it is turned in, it is extremely stable, so it gives you a lot of confidence to ride fast. Now, on excellent British roads, we had a blast today. Lots of fun was had, but my point of concern is that once we get this motorcycle in India, where our road surfaces are not exactly ideal, then the limited travel of the rear shock could be a problem, because ride quality is not what an Indian customer expects. But if you are able to live with that, then this is a motorcycle that does a lot of things for a lot of different people. Classic is never meant for off-roading, but there are many of you who take this motorcycle to go exploring Ladakh and Northeast and whatnot. So while I have no comment about its off-roading ability, it must be noted that the ground clearance of this motorcycle is 154 mm, which is the highest among the three and just 20 mm lower than the Interceptor and the Continental GT. At the time of filming, we do not have the price of this motorcycle, but what Royal Enfield have told us is that this motorcycle's pricing starts somewhere close to the Shotgun mark, and it's offered in 3 variants. Now, this is the entry level, and you know it's the entry level because it has a special kind of font and these colors. The second variant gets matching frame colors to matching body colors, and the third variant is the absolute top of the line full chrome Classic. And that is most likely to be the most expensive 650 motorcycle in Royal Enfield's portfolio right now. To understand what I have to say about the Royal Enfield Classic 650, I must put some perspective. So previously we had the Classic 350 and the Classic 500 single-cylinder motorcycles, and this 650 platform is familiar to us because we have seen it in the Super Meteor and the Shotgun. So the real question is, which of these characters are more visible or are more evident in the Classic? And the answer is, I feel this is closer to a Classic version of the Shotgun than the actual Classic, simply because that motorcycle was something I would consider as comfortable, easy to mile munch on, and many of you have taken it to places like Ladakh and all that as well. Whereas this motorcycle is more refined in its purpose, because this is all about, again, cruising, mile munching at much higher speeds than before, at much higher levels of refinement. But will you be able to do the same kind of things that you were able to do with the single-cylinder Classic? I don't think so. The versatility may have gone down a little bit, but at the same time, the enjoyment factor with the motorcycle has increased considerably. It carries a lot more speed around corners, is more stable for sure, brakes more progressively, and is definitely a significant improvement to ride on. The only chink in its armor, I would say, and not the motorcycle's fault at all, is the rear suspension. It has only 90 mm of travel, and that may not be enough for a cosseting ride on our road conditions. Before arriving in the UK to test this motorcycle, I had a clear agenda in mind about what I would do. I would test this, I would test that and all. But 10 kilometers into the ride, I stopped testing and started enjoying the motorcycle and the beautiful countryside over here. And that shows that the Classic is still true to its roots from that perspective. It is a motorcycle that you can sit on, forget about everything else, and just find more excuses to keep going longer. And I think that is beautiful, complements the motorcycle's character very well. And yeah, if you are somebody who has a Classic 350 or a Classic 500 and wants to upgrade to a machine that has these kind of gorgeous looks plus the ability to cruise at higher speeds, then this is a no-brainer.